This week's guided meditation is the third in the series of 3 about intuition. I want to wrap up some of the questions I received regarding the circle meditation, which was shared about 2 weeks ago. If you haven't listened to the circle meditation and tried the practice, I encourage you to do so. You can stop this audio if you want and go back and do that. The link is in the blog above. And if you're listening to this audio on YouTube, you can always go to my website, www.lauracam.com, and find the circle meditation. So let's get to it. One of the questions I received, and I get this question a lot, what do you do when you intuitively pick up colors or shapes or some kind of morphic structure in the field? What are you supposed to do with that information? Well, this is a great question. And when you're beginning to develop and open up and trust your intuition, you'll see colors and, you just don't know what to do with it. So let me solve that problem for you. Let me get you started on what to do. Hopefully, you've been delving into your meditation practice, sitting in stillness and learning how to sit and watch the mind or breath or aspects of the body as your meditation focus. Learning to cultivate your mind and rein in the nomadic qualities of your mind is essential to be able to discern intuitive information accurately. But let's get back to these colors that show up in your field. First of all, it's important that you make an assessment on the proximity of the object you're looking at. In this case, a cloud of color. It can be one color or a multitude of colors. The task is, and this is why your meditation practice is so important, you need to learn to move your mind. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you're in your intuitive zone and you are listening and being still and feeling and seeing structures in your field. There are colors moving and wafting around, and maybe even some type of energetic structure that is in stasis, just kind of holding there in your energy field. And it's colorful. It's either one solid color or an amalgam of beautiful colors. What do? There are 3 steps. You ask, you listen, and you adjust. You ask with the word in the interrogatory, what? What does this mean? What does the red mean? What does the orange mean? What does the tanzanite mean? And tanzanite is a beautiful blue purple, different than amethyst. In fact, I think it's even more beautiful. So what do the colors mean? Take them one at a time. Step 2, you listen. You wait in the stillness for something to arise. Pay attention to any sensation you may feel in your body. And it may not arise instantly. You may be off doing errands or doing the dishes or getting ready to go to bed some night, and boom, this information about what that color meant will come to you. So don't expect instant access all of the time, yet typically instant information is delivered when you ask. The 3rd step is to adjust. Adjust your mind. Again, this is the benefit of meditation because you can reel in your wayward mind as you sit in meditation. You're cultivating the ability to concentrate, and that is the benefit of meditation. In order to receive accurate, intuitive information to the degree that it's a seamless conversation between your intuitive mind and your cognitive brain, the ability to focus and to concentrate is imperative. So number 1 is ask, using the word what. Number 2 is to listen. And number 3 is to adjust your mind and move it in and around and through the object you are assessing. Another question I often get in regard to circle meditation and intuition in general is, where does intuition come from? Firstly, intuition is a system. It's an inherent, organic, natural, as the day is long system that is connected to your body and your physiology. So what is happening? You're picking up relevant information for yourself. Intuition is not information. I say this often because that's the way we've been taught and that's the way the culture talks about it. Information is simply that, information. Intuition is a system through which information comes. So what's coming to you is either relevant or non-relevant to you in the moment. People who are very empathic often receive information and data about other people that they were either in conversation with, that they love and care about, and perhaps unbeknownst to them, the person that they're thinking about or pops into their mind is maybe having a difficult time. And it can be as simple as someone popping into your mind because you popped into their mind. So through thought transference, you are actually thinking of each other and picking up each other's energy. Also, there is a structure known as the morphic field. Morphic fields are huge. They are collective. They are part of the collective, but they can be individualized based on the object of mind and the physical reality and size of an object. For instance, Coca-Cola has a morphic field. Cancer has a morphic field. The GDP of any country has a morphic field. Educational systems have morphic fields. Any large institution created by man, any large structure created by the heavens and the earth has a morphic field. The Rocky Mountains have a morphic field here in the U.S. The Gobi Desert has a morphic field. The Eiffel Tower, the Tower of London, temples in Kyoto, beaches in Hawaii, Antarctica. Every region and section and man-made or geographical structure then is larger than an anthill, but yes, even an anthill has a morphic field. If you have ever visited any battlefields here in the U.S., in Europe, or anywhere else on the planet, battlefields definitely have morphic fields. You can feel the pain and suffering. I remember when I was 8 years old, my father was a Presbyterian minister and my mother was a special needs teacher for high school. And my dad took a sabbatical from his work, and it was a 5-month sabbatical, and went to Europe. Now, my mom was smart enough to know that he wasn't going to go without us. So we packed up and boarded a ship out of New York and sailed across the Atlantic, and into Europe we went. We camped and just had an amazing, amazing adventure when I was a young girl through 15 different countries in Europe. My father, being a minister and more importantly, a historian, took us to every castle and battlefield he could find in those 15 countries. And I will never forget walking on the grassy fields of Normandy and Verdun and feeling and hearing the sights and sounds and even smells of those battles, the catacombs in Rome. And the worst of all was going into Dachau and feeling that angst and pain and an enormous human suffering. It's in my nervous system. And it will never leave. And thank God, we must never forget. We must not wipe out history. We must always feel what we have done to each other as human beings, both good and bad. So we remember to keep kindness and compassion and the awareness of interconnectedness in our minds and hearts all of the time. So you're picking up data from the field. from ice cream to horrific human tragedies. It's out there. I mean, really, when you look at it, I can take a ton of data, images, documents, audios, videos, and airdrop them from one Mac of mine, one Apple computer to the other. I don't see that data walking across my desk and jumping into my Big Mac. It's time in our own human evolution that we really get it. Most of the world is unseen. Most of the information that you need to live your life is unseen, and upon request, and sometimes by serendipity, that information comes in through your intuitive system and registers through the different channels in your body, primarily your nervous system and central nervous system, which includes the brain and the spinal cord. And this is why sometimes you can feel electricity going through your body when you're picking up intuitive data. Now, this isn't just the chills that people get or goosebumps that you get. That's a little different in the sense that you're picking up an intensity of the signal upon which your nervous system is sitting, so to speak. Tingles on the surface of the body or little flutters of electricity is typically, not always, but typically the fascia, your connective tissue, which lays under the skin and over your muscle structures. The fascia is highly electrical, and it is the first line of receptivity physically that receives the signals coming in through the energy field and into the body. So electromagnetics on the outside starts imprinting and affecting electrochemical on the inside of your body. And so the journey of information begins from the field to the body, from the mind to the brain. I hope this has helped you a little bit to understand more effectively how you can maneuver your mind, that beautiful wayward mind, to receive and to ask information. It usually just comes in and gives you the pictures or maybe some word chunks or sound bites. And the more you practice meditation and listen to some of these audios that I'm creating, I hope it helps you become seamless in the conversation with intuitively delivered information and then the application and organization of that information so you can live the life that you're here to live. I send you lots of love and keep practicing.